absolutely incredible. I thought the fight between Islam Makhachev and Charles Oliveira would be closer, but goddamn, this was a domination. Makhachev completely neutralized all aspects of Oliveira's game, from striking to grappling to jiu-jitsu to absolutely everything. Oliveira had no answers. In this video, I will break down what exactly happened in the fight, I will break down key moments of the fight, and stay tuned until the end because I will do a detailed breakdown of the finish of the fight. Before I get into it, if you like the video, smash the like button, drop a comment, let me know if you agree with what I'm saying or not, and of course, as always, subscribe. So let's get back to the fight. The fight starts, it opens up, and Charles Oliveira gets hit immediately with a straight left from Islam Makhachev. It was an absolutely beautiful punch. However, no surprises there. It's not like it's the first time we saw Oliveira hit, and we know he can get hit and still win the fight, so we weren't surprised. However, everyone was always giving the striking advantage to Charles, and seeing Islam hit him like this in the opening minutes, opening seconds, it was absolutely crazy. After that, they had some nice exchanges. Islam was having a lot of success, but Charles was also landing some shots of his own. However, then something interesting happens. During one of the exchanges, they get very close. And in that moment, Charles Oliveira gets both underhooks under Islam's arms and pulls guard, which was super interesting. I think he was about to be taken down anyway, and that was the exact reason why he wanted to pull guard in the first place. Because better being on the ground on your own terms than on Islam's terms. Here on the ground, you see that Islam Makhachev really respected Charles Oliveira's jiu-jitsu. He was much calmer in the guard as opposed to any other fights. He didn't try anything crazy. He didn't try to throw any crazy ground and pound, any crazy submission attempts. He was very respectful of Charles' jiu-jitsu. But Islam did manage to throw in a nice few body strikes, a nice few headshots, and then Oliveira throws up a triangle attempt, which looked pretty nice. I mean, of course, it wasn't even close. It wasn't there, but it looked pretty nice. I mean, we don't see Makhachev in that defensive mode too often. So Oliveira managed to make him defend, forced him to put either both of his elbows in or out of the guard because he has to prevent the triangle. So that was pretty fun. And then Oliveira shows off his jiu-jitsu skills by putting his foot on Islam Makhachev's hips, pushing him away, and as Islam is coming back into the guard, coming back to control him, Charles Oliveira rolls and puts his knees on Islam Makhachev's body. By putting his knees there, he created space between the two of them, and then he uses that space to roll and push off Islam Makhachev from the top, end up in a standing position and clinching up with Islam Makhachev and actually controlling him against the fence. It was in this moment of the fight where I thought, okay, Charles might have some answers. Looks like Charles can defend something from Islam's game. But then, however, in the clinch, so ironic, Islam Makhachev grabs Oliveira's hand with an overhand, enters with his left leg, trips him, and just falls on top of him. Man, that was beautiful and so ironic. You wanna know why it's ironic? Do you guys remember on Instagram, before the fight, Charles Oliveira was posting a video of him doing the exact same takedown and saying that he will do the exact same takedown on Islam Makhachev. Remember that? Instagram was going crazy. But it turns out it was actually Islam Makhachev who did that takedown on Oliveira, so that's super funny. And I think it was at this moment that Oliveira realized that wrestling with Makhachev is a bad idea. You don't want to be clinching up with him, you don't want to be holding him in your guard. You don't want to do none of that, man. And from this moment on, until the end of the round, Islam Makhachev just showed good control, good caution, respect for Charles' jiu-jitsu, didn't do anything crazy again, just controlled him, landed a few strikes, scored the points, and got himself the round. Then we go into round number 2. And this round opens up a bit crazy. I mean, both guys start swinging punches, clinching, throwing knees. And here is where I started to get worried about Charles Oliveira because look, it didn't seem like he was respecting the striking of Islam Makhachev. It seemed like he was throwing his punches a bit too wild, a bit too loopy, which is very dangerous, exactly for the reason that Islam Makhachev was respecting Charles, but Charles seemed to have not respected Islam's striking. It's very dangerous thing to do in a fight. But at one point, Charles Oliveira tries his own takedown and Islam, as strong as he is, as a monster that he is, of course defends the takedown with ease. After a long clinch that ends up breaking up and a bunch of punches that follow up, a bunch of exchanges where again we see Charles Oliveira seem to have not respected Islam Makhachev's striking. Then the obvious happens after that conclusion. While underestimating Makhachev's striking, Charles Oliveira tries some crazy flying knee, punch at the same time. And as you remember, DC kept saying all the time, years after years in the UFC, you don't do kick punch. You never kick and punch at the same time. So what Charles Oliveira did, he tried to do like a flying knee while throwing a right hook at the same time. And he was defending well. I have to give him credit. His left hand was protecting his jaw pretty well. However, Islam goes over the top with a beautiful right overhand, just millimeters above Charles's guard. I swear it was millimeters above the guard of Charles, and hits him flush on the chin. Charles gets knocked down, but again, we have seen that before. We have seen him getting knocked down so many times. However, what the surprising part was, first of all, it was Islam Makhachev who did it, and we underestimated his striking. Oliveira underestimated his striking. And then second of all, every time he's knocked down, no one ever followed him to the ground. However, we know that's not a problem from Islam Makhachev, and he did exactly that and got one of the most beautiful submissions I've seen, and now I will tell you why. When he was on top of Charles, before he even solidified the position on top, Charles was so scared of the ground and pound that he lifted his elbows up. If you look at the video, he lifted his elbows to the side of his head to protect his face. However, what that allows for Islam Makhachev is that he can slide into half guard and put his forehead on the floor underneath Charles's armpit. This exploits the fact that Charles had his hand up to protect his face and puts Charles right into the arm triangle position. But to have the most powerful arm triangle choke, you need to cross your opponent's body to the side where you locked your hands. So Islam, from half guard, puts one of his feet between Charles's legs to open them up and pin them on the ground. While he's doing it, he slides out his left knee on top of Charles's body, pretty much ending up on full mount. However, there is no need for full mount when you have an arm triangle, so he just slides his other knee on the right side of Charles's body, and immediately, the same millisecond that happens, Charles Oliveira taps, one of the quickest taps, man, we've ever seen him do, and Islam Makhachev wins the lightweight championship. It is absolutely crazy. I mean, looking back at a fight, I was the first person that say Charles Oliveira has an edge in this fight. And I still stand by that I thought he had an edge just because of his previous resume. However, as all of us saw, even though Oliveira fought better competition, better opponents, it just seemed like on this night Islam was a much better fighter, much more technical fighter, much more prepared, having much more respect for his opponent overall. So yeah, well-deserved win, well-deserved championship. I am happy for Islam Makhachev and his team, happy for Khabib because of the legacy, because of his father's plan. I'm just scared that Islam will be defending his belt like once a year. I really hope he doesn't do that. I really hope he starts defending his belt more frequently, or like Charles, maybe 2 times a year at least. So let's see how it goes. Overall, guys, if you enjoyed the video, let me know. Smash the like button, subscribe, comment. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Let me know. Peace.